Pixar update is back after an unintentional hiatus for my channel. The last episodes of Pixar's new series Win or Lose have aired this Wednesday, and I decided to review the show as a whole instead of doing weekly recaps. Where do we start? Well, I like the series. I really enjoyed watching the individual episodes, and if there's one phrase that describes Win or Lose precisely, it's typically Pixar. The studio keeps bringing up fresh stories and ideas, new concepts and some spirit unique to the studio. Win or Lose tells the story of the Pickles, a high school softball team, and jumps into the minds of 8 characters that face their personal struggles in the light of the state championship. The creators of the show used lots of metaphors to illustrate these individual plots and tease the outcome of the night of the championship only briefly each time before the grand finale. Wrapped by some warm animation and a sensitive soundtrack, this show delivers. Well, let's go into detail on some of these episodes. The first one focuses on Laurie, a player in the team. She's not good at softball at all, but always tries to appeal to the coach, her dad. I won't spoil anything here, but I can tell you her basic problem and its eventual solution by the end of the show are obvious and foreseeable, so I'd assume her character study could have been more profound. Her metaphor, however, works flawlessly. She's often nervous and starts to sweat. A pearl of sweat starts talking to her and in her mind becomes bigger the more she pushes herself and fears failure. Receiving her father's assurance is what makes her get rid of that burden that lies heavily on her shoulders. Another figure in the show is Frank, a teacher and the referee. He's shown wearing an armor because he quite often faces criticism and needs to defend himself. Yet personally he's a wreck, and not half as strong as he shines through to the outer world. He fails in terms of love because he broke up with his girlfriend when she proposed to him. Sometimes the armor felt inappropriate because you wouldn't entirely break through it to understand the character, but I'm convinced that's just my personal impression. What actually bothered me is one scene when Frank tries to arrange a date with a coffee shop's employee. She didn't show interest but was extremely friendly when he entered, so he tried for good. Instead of simply refusing his offer, she behaves awkwardly and causes an utterly strange situation. That scene was unnecessary in terms of being a creative failure. Next up, I'd like to highlight episode 3 and 4. They build on each other in a great way by providing a look inside Rochelle, some sort of the team's leader, and a model student, a model daughter, and her single mother, Vanessa. The family struggles financially, so Rochelle works at a snack stand to collect her membership fees. Increased prices cause an extra burden, and meanwhile, her mother, who vividly shares her life on social media, loses her job. Rochelle starts losing control, and you start becoming mad at her seemingly immature mother, before the next episode reflects how much effort the latter really puts into managing her life. A whole lot. Some good metaphors were shown in episode 6 that focuses on Yuvan, another team member. I've never really seen Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but some of Yuvan's inner imagination resembled that one. He pretends to be self-confident and pushes his ego to appear fun, but it's all just a show that collapses at the brink of its boundaries eventually. At this point, I want to address another aspect because I should have done weekly recaps to cover all episodes. So I've already mentioned the use of metaphors in the show a whole lot. If you watched Luca, Win or Lose may feel reminiscent of it, as lots of emotions, feelings and perceptions are shown through the lens of vivid imagination, similar to Luca's daydreams. These metaphors are a fingerprint of the show, which is entirely fine. Yet it appears to become repetitive at times because you'd simply expect something different from the approach of the show to tell the overall story through the views of different characters, so you'd like to have different methods and measures of style. A prospect of that special language, however, was that you wouldn't know how things really happened in some scenarios. In the final episode, Coach Dan inflates when a situation is tense. That metaphor shows brilliantly how he swallows any backlash, but in fact it only makes his anger accumulate. When he's close to blowing up, you don't get to see what actually happens to him, but you're still able to understand what's happening. A fundamental takeaway from Win or Lose is that Pixar is good at doing shows. There is some excellent chemistry between the production design and the concept of the show. Each episode starts a week ahead of the championship, makes its basic issues and tensions boil, and then it leaves you at a crucial moment of the championship, leaving the audience with a cliffhanger that actually sucks. Also, I was overwhelmed by the music, the songs in particular. It's not comparable to Michael Giacchino's or Randy Newman's movie scores, but it reflects the sports theme and general mood of the show in a genuine way. All in all, Win or Lose is a smart home run that rarely loses breath. Give it a watch, it's worth it. I could definitely get used to more Pixar entries of that kind. I leave you at this point. Make sure you're gonna leave a like or a comment for me before you head on. We'll see us again soon for another video. Bye now.